Good evening, this is BCN's News Bulletin for this Tuesday evening. Niue government housing residents are calling for a reconsideration on their rental accommodation they say is astronomical. Some residents say the rent increase is too much and they won't be able to afford to stay. Honourable Premier Toke Talangi said there is a review of all government subsidised sections of its operations.
We're looking at about 150 a week. But we have made an assessment as to what it costs us to maintain those places, what it will continue to cost us to maintain. I suppose an element of replacement at some point, if there is a need to. And we've found that the maintenance costs, in fact, are very high, and the rents are not meeting that maintenance cost. Those houses were never meant to be long-term residents. They were there for expatriates, they were there for people to rent and then go and build their houses. That was always the intention. It was never intended that you live there for the rest of your life. Some people have done that, but it's unrealistic for them to expect us to continue to maintain their houses at a cost to us and at the cost to the government of Niue and to the people of Niue, because in effect, that's what's happening. It's the people of Niue who are subsidising their houses up there.
Why is it taking government so long to maintain these homes? I mean, there were concerns before, but now government is relooking since it's moved under NPNC.
I can't answer that. I mean, we've asked the government departments to please come back to us and tell us what it is that we need to do to help improve the business and trading operations of the government. And some of them have, some of them didn't. And what we're finding now is that there is the clear demarcation of responsibilities when it comes to trading operations and when it comes to the infrastructural operations and legislative requirements that departments have. And I've said before, these departments are not necessarily business people. So we've taken it under the NPNC wing and given it a business approach. And this is what we've reached, that with the cost to maintain these buildings, in fact, is much higher. Therefore, we've got to increase the rent. It's not something which is plucked out of the air. We've got to figure out whether we're going to think. And then there's an element of trying to make some money for the asset and the investment the government has put in. As I said, about $2.5 billion.
What is your response to one of the questions that this is one way of government trying to push out the locals back into their own homes?
Well, it's a good thing, isn't it? They will be able to pay their own rents to their own mortgage, to the bank, and build their own houses in their own properties. They don't have to pay for the land. They already have the land. They should go out and build their own houses, and they shouldn't be paying rent. I mean, it's something that I hate doing myself. I believe that people should own their own houses, or if they are going to pay a rent, then it should be to a mortgage which will eventually end up being a house of their own.
Tenants were given a 60-day rental increase notice effective as of the 1st of September. Niue's police force is among 7 islands that are part of the 3Ps Pacific Policing Program with the New Zealand Police. The 3Ps program was launched this year through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade from New Zealand. The New Zealand government has set aside $4.19 million for the 4-year project that looks to strengthen policing in the Pacific. It involves training and mentoring by New Zealand police officers of police services in the Cook Islands, Kiribati, Niue, Samoa, Tokelau, Tuvalu and Vanuatu. For the past 3 weeks, 2 police advisors from New Zealand Police have been working alongside local police in areas such as road policing, prosecutions as well as community policing as a way forward.
The way moving forward for most of the Pacific Island countries is, we believe, the way that for community policing at the strength and the pillar of where we want to drive forward. And the Niuean community already has that concept of it. What Steve and I will strive to do is work alongside the Commissioner and his team, and also with the community, to see what their needs are, and if we can enhance upon it or strengthen it to whatever ability or to whatever effect we can. But once again, just heeding what Steve said before, that we've been welcomed with open arms here, and we truly love the way that we've been treated here in Niue.
Well, we're still observing a lot of that's been going on. They already have some great systems in place, and the Commissioner of Police has a lot of those ideas that he wants to spring forward, and we're really to help him do that. So we're still really making assessments of the way community policing is applied here at the moment. What's important is that Niue communities are strong communities already, and community policing is really about building on the strengths of those communities that they already have established, and then working in with the police to try and resolve any crimes or problems that are occurring, or just trying to prevent problems that are occurring in the community. So I think there's a big strong base here already with a good bunch of police guys here, a Commissioner of Police that knows what he wants to do and where he wants to go over the next few years, and we're just going to build on that.
It is envisaged that the project will enhance policing capability and relationships already built over several years by New Zealand Police and the participating nations. Whether these opportunities will be extended to officers from the Pacific to train and observe New Zealand police operations has yet to be determined, but it would be an ideal reciprocation.
Definitely, one of our assessments is around that, around support, strengthening and facilitating any workplace development that we can do. That's one of our functions that we can do, and we can make assessments or recommend that these particular men and women of the Niue Police moving forward can observe or even come to the training college, and that's what we're looking at for future development.
The project focuses particularly on technical help, ethics and human rights, leadership, operational development and community engagement initiatives. Despite this being a working trip, this has also been an opportunity to get a feel for the island and its people. Senior Sergeant Lathy and Sergeant Baddock will depart the island this coming Friday. Response by growers to the increased cost of the government bulldozer to plough plantations has not been positive. On Friday morning, a meeting of farmers and growers at the market met with some strong criticism of the new cost to use the bulldozer for agricultural purposes. One of the growers said he hoped the government will reconsider its position on the hefty price tag of $222 an hour for the bulldozer to plough. He said many growers are old and find it hard to work the plantations like the past, so they rely heavily on the machines to assist them. Honourable Premier Toke Talangi said there is a reason for the new charges and changes in line with its transformation policies.
The NPNC has confirmed that that's a cost for running a bulldozer for an hour, $220, whatever the thing. Now, there are people who are talking about us providing some sort of subsidy, similar, if you like, similar to the housing. What we talked about in the Cabinet this morning is that why don't we accumulate all the subsidies that we provide for various businesses we have and various institutions we have in the government here, and then say, well, there's 5,000 people that we should be paying, and give it to them and say, well, you decide what do you wish to do with it.
And we also understand you'll be having a meeting with the growers this afternoon.
Yes, I saw them on Friday. There were about 4 of them, I think, who turned up to the meeting. And I'm happy to sit and talk to them. And as I'm always happy to sit and talk to them, the question really is, what sort of subsidy, if we are going to pay a subsidy from the government viewpoint to NPNC to assist the growers, what is it actually that they need to help them improve their productivity? And this is something that I'd like to do. Bulldozing is just one of them. But I'd like to talk to them about what else we can do to assist the growers here.
A meeting between agricultural farmers and the government took place today. We have yet to receive the outcome, and we will bring you more on the story in our future news bulletin. Avaseli has received new equipment that will aid village developments and beautification. An official handover of a brand new ride-on mower and a brush cutter was cause for celebrations over the weekend. Avaseli Village Member of Parliament Billy Talangi says that the brush cutter was gifted from the Avaseli community in Australia following various online discussions within their village Facebook page that was initiated by Laron Lino. However, the drive to gain momentum for funds was directed by Eva Nicholas and Phyllis Siwa. Mr. Talangi also made mention that their community in New Zealand have similar intentions to put forward contributions with Sioniliti Kumitau and Iran at the helm. Avaseli is quite popular with visitors and tourists, so the new equipment will be put to good use to maintain the grounds and beautify the village. Avaseli Village Council Chairperson Ataleo Siakia says that they are thankful to the village MP who was able to source funds from government's tourism beautification project funds. This latest contribution reflects a great sense of community spirit, pride and unity, not only for those living in Niue but also for communities living abroad, maintaining links and providing support to developments on island. There was a sigh of relief when the cargo ship docked at the harbour over the weekend, as stores have been running low on some essentials. For more than a week, the island has run low on liquid milk, mosquito coils and toilet paper, to name a few. Some businesses have opted to freight in some goods on the plane, which normally means increased prices for customers. However, the shipping agent on island said that this boat was slightly delayed with the changeover from the vessel servicing Niue, that was Olomana, to the Liloa. This is the first voyage coming through the new route from Auckland through to Lautoka, Apia, Pangopango, Rarotonga, Niue and then on to Tonga before returning to New Zealand. On this month's shipment, there was a total of 67 containers. That's including 27 cars, 1 tractor, 1 bus, 3 freezer containers, 21 general containers and 16 fuel tank containers. As for the outgoing cargo, there was 1 container of nonu juice, 1 container of honey, and 1 private reef freight consignment. The next boat is expected to arrive on the 19th of September, which is a 4-week turnaround period. La Capa Show Day on Saturday was an event many would have been sorry to miss out on, as many show patrons flocked to the eastern side of the island early Saturday morning. La Capa Village was planning an all-out affair, much to the delight of all showgoers. The strategically placed food stalls and display marquees made the show day look a field of many for a small population. With stalls jam-packed with food delicacies, imported varieties and locally grown, visitors admired the rich flavors many locals served. What most were excited about were the women's handcraft tent, with such a small group of women that can produce high quality and plenty of displays. Many commended the certain dedication of a small group that can produce so much can be mirrored elsewhere. The men were also able to supply their talents in the forms of wooden handcrafts, but more so with the abundance of variety of agricultural products. A launch of the new Singing Sensation CD included in the talents showcased on the day. Talent doesn't end there, though, as one of the well-known wood craftsmen specialized in the sika making art hosted the famous sika competition, which was also claimed by village youngster Robert Tongyamana. Not many show days, though, can complete without dancing performances, and La Capa this year created another stunner. With different varieties of dancers from the village youth and youngsters, the Whakalupe hip-hoppers, Talangi and Colossi clan, and a splash of Cook Island drums from Miss Fatamaka heated the afternoon tempo before the few ladies of Maliloa completed the day. Another great success from La Capa Maliloa. The next show day we head down to the coast to the village known as the middle of the island, Uhumutu Tuapa. And that is our news bulletin for this evening. Don't forget to check out the Niue High School English speech competition that will be on from 10 to 12 tomorrow at Niue High School for year 7 to 9.